Hello and welcome people to a slight little demonstration on using Dreamcast with DVDO VP30. Now you can immediately see things don't exactly go right. More so than you may think too, because yeah, as you can see here, I am using a European Dreamcast, so the logo should be blue. Basically what happens is the DVDO VP30, while it can take a VGA signal, it doesn't particularly like it, and it will just randomly work or not. How you can actually force it to work is by tilting the cable very slightly as it turns on. That way you can reset its syncing or whatever it does, and then it will actually give you correct image, as you can see here. Now this is being recorded through HDMI. The VGA is connected to DVDO, and DVDO sends the HDMI signal to the Elgato, and that way it's recorded. I will show the beginning cutscene, or part of the beginning cutscene of this game, and then a bit of gameplay. I picked this one mostly because it covers the basis of 2D graphics and 3D graphics at the same time, and it also runs at 60 frames, and well, you don't find many of those, do you? Well, that do all of those things at once. And here it took a little while because I forgot that I deleted my last save file. It didn't go anywhere. So yeah, this FMV appears a little bit low res, but that's just because this game was initially intended to be a Saturn game, so it probably just runs in 240p or something similar. It still looks very pretty. And has a really nice style to it. But yeah, once this is over, I'll also show off some little things you can do to make the image better, because I have the image shift set up wrong as it is right now. It's a little bit too low than what it's supposed to be, and for this game it does actually matter because it takes advantage of the entire resolution, doesn't use any underscanning. So yeah. Also, just to point out, I have recorded. I have the input setting set up to RGB. This is very important because if you don't set it to RGB, the entire image will just look wrong. And I have the output set up to also RGB, because otherwise you have to mess up a lot with the values of contrast and brightness and whatnot. And the image type, or rather image there is another option for the image signal. I have it set to PC as opposed to video, because video tends to be way too bright in most cases. But yeah, those are things that I don't show off setting up, simply because I already done that before, and it remembers the settings. So here I set up the shift. One little advice here: if you're recording, don't record. If you want to do the image shift, don't record it and do the image shift, because Elgato does not like it. This video, Sony Vegas was very reluctant of actually taking it in after all of the horrible things that I have done with it, mostly at the startup with pulling out the cable and whatnot. But yeah, in 2D segments, this game runs at 60 frames. As you can see, of course, not all animations are at 60 frames. This is just a 2D RPG. But things like scrolling, of course, are noticeably very smooth. The graphics themselves are done in 240p, and just to be on the clear, I will by the end of this video show off the info, what the info button tells us about the signal, just so it's not just so we're on the clear that I'm not lying to you about this being recorded through VGA. And now this RPG is in 3D. It's a thing that happens. Oddly enough, the controls actually seem a lot more responsive when you're doing it like this. That's part of the reason. It's partially because the game forces analog controls onto you, regardless of whether or not you're in the 2D or the 3D mode, which is a little bit annoying because I would much rather prefer the D-pad controls for the 2D segments. But oh well, it works. And yes, I named the main character Bob just because. But yeah, as I was saying, this game, while it displays 240p while it is done in 240p graphics, it actually displays in well, VGA 640 on 480. As you can see here, VGA 60 Hz RGB and whatnot, whatever you may want. So thank you again for watching. There is a way of going around the issue of there's a way of going around the issue of this starting up wrong, and that is to get a device called an RGB interface. I currently am I will make a video on it. I'm just waiting to get the right cable in the mail, and then I will have the setup ready. But I thought that I would point this out, since it is kind of an issue, and this is one of the possible workabouts. I don't suggest using it. I don't suggest doing it this way, because it just may very well be damaging to your system, and I wouldn't suggest doing that. Better to get one of those RGB interfaces. They're not horrendously expensive. They go for roughly 20 bucks on eBay. It's way better than just doing it the ghetto way.